Mackenzie, and this is your one-stop shop for all the storytelling,
tea spilling,
and to keep up with the latest book talk drama that you have been missing out on.
Yes!
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to keep going on with the trend of Assassin's Blade, and specifically we're going to be reading Assassin and the Red Desert today. So if you are not one to want spoilers, you've been warned. If you haven't read this part, don't continue to listen. If you don't care about spoilers and you don't really read, keep on listening and we will tell you everything that's going down.
And if you didn't listen to episode 1, which we released last week, make sure to head back in and listen to the first episode so that you can stay up to date on the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and introduce some new characters so we can get that out of the way. Yeah. First up is Ansel. She is like this 18-year-old tomboyish girl is how I imagine her. She's got decked out in all these glam like armor. She's got this huge sword. Everybody knows who she is at this keep. She comes from a place known as the Wastelands, and so her family has sent her down to the Silent Assassins to train with them and hopefully help protect their lands a little bit better. She also is in a relationship with this guy named Mikal.
So
Mikal,
whatever you want to say.
And there's enough of an age gap that's kind of uncomfortable if you think about it, but we're going to graze over that. He's really sweet to her. He's like their low-key relationship. Not everybody's like, oh, that's the it couple. They're pretty low-key.
Very low-key. It seems like they just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. Ansel is also the Silent Master's courier. So she will often go on little missions for him and kind of like be his delegate essentially, and just kind of like talk to people on his behalf. Their local nemesis where they're at in the Red Desert is Lord Beric. He is the king or lord of Xandria, which is the city around this desert. And he has been banned from trading because he's not been able to silence the rebellious groups in his area by the king. So he is like on this mission to try to get back on the good side of the king, and he's trying to prove that he is worth the king's thought, I guess. I don't know. And so he's like, I know how to do this. I'm going to have to kill the leader of the assassins, and obviously that's how I'm going to get back in the good graces.
Yeah, it seems like the assassins are kind of operating under their own kind of law government. They're trying to stay out of politics, it seems. They're trying to just manage themselves, run themselves. They've got their own little like compound, it kind of describes. So they're not really like against the king
like
per
Switzerland.
se. They're very Switzerland. They're doing their own thing, but I think if you're not fully with the king, he hates that as you need to die.
Yeah, so that's the sense. And then we've got Elias, which is the Silent Master's son. He's also really handsome and very talented at killing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we love about these books. They know how to do what they do best.
And then obviously we cannot go on without mentioning the cutie pie mute master.
Whenever I picture him in the book, like how it describes him, they say he's like this very kind of meek looking man, but like his reputation precedes him. Like they know what he can do, who he is. But like he's got like olive skin, sea green eyes. Like they kind of describe him as maybe like, I don't know, like Oriental looking.
Yeah, that's how I imagine him.
I picture him fully as Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid. That's all I see. This cute little...
I picture him like that turtle from Kung Fu Panda.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
really
about?
Cute.
That's what I imagine, but obviously a human. But like the same vibes, you know?
I can see that.
Okay, so where we're picking up with the story, let's jump into the story time now. Selena has finally made it out of that dumpy old little bar area. She's made it to Xandria, the city. And obviously the Silent Assassins live in the middle of the desert. So no one really knows how to get there exactly unless you've been there before. So she gets help from this local, and they were like, here, I'll take you halfway. And that's it, because I'm not trying to get in their business. So figure it out on your own. So she's like stuck in the middle of the desert. And she's like, well, heck, okay, well, I guess I will make it on there. And she trucks through the desert. She's dry, she's crispy, she's burnt, she's
Covered
dirty.
in sand, yeah.
And she shows up to the Silent Assassin's door. She's like, hey, Hi. How y'all doing? And she's like, I know everybody's gonna know who I am. Like, I'm Selena. Like, everybody's gonna know.
Aderlin's assassin.
So she shows up. She's like, hey guys, I'm here. I know that you guys have probably been expecting me. Like, I'm here. I'm ready to get going. And then the silent assassin, or the mute master's like,
Basically.
And, like, immediately she gets, like, hit. Oh, well, not hit. She gets attacked by, like, 3 different assassins.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
They come all angles. They're going at her.
She's like, what the heck? I just showed up here. But I'm not one to turn down a fight.
She said bet.
So she takes them down pretty easily, obviously. And the mute master's like, cool. You can stick around.
But all this time, he also doesn't speak.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously.
Mute.
Mute master, right?
Obviously.
Get that?
He basically just, like, nods. And they just know.
So she gets these guys down, and she's like, I win, duh. And the mute master is like, basically, sign languaging, you're going to hang out with her. And then Ansel's like, yeah, he just said you're going to hang out with me. So Selena's like, fine, okay, well, that's not exactly what I came here for, but we'll be nice, and we'll go along with it. Ansel's showing her around the keep and telling her, there's some places here that are sacredly silent, and there's some places that it's just encouraged to be silent. Ansel, on the other hand, she is the last thing from silent. She likes to talk. She's like, I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to give you the tea. I'm going to show you around. I'm going to let you go have some fun with me. And she's like, I don't care about being quiet. And that's one thing they know about me.
I think she said one time, she was like, yeah, I vowed a month of silence at one point. And she was like, I made it 2 days. Couldn't do it. Not for me.
I don't think I could do that either,
That's
honestly.
relatable.
It's really
Truly.
hard. I talk to myself so much.
I know, you do.
Okay, so you don't?
No.
No, okay.
Okay.
All right, that's fine.
Do you talk to is there anybody else there with you?
No, it's just me.
Just you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, so Ansel is showing her around. She's like, yeah, so these are some of the places around here. And then, like, while she's showing everybody around, Selena's like, everybody is, like, paying attention to her, not me. And also, there's a lot of girls here. There's also a lot of, like, different aged people here. They're all mingling together. They're all working together. It's like a culture shock from where she came from. Like, definitely, immediately, culture shock.
She's very used to being, like, the center of attention, the most admired, like, the beauty, the brains, the brawn, like, all the things. Like, she's not used to being, like, having to prove herself.
Yeah, like, she's like, I'm a celebrity, aren't I? Like, don't they know who I am?
And I don't know if we said, but the Red Desert is, like, she had a journey for, like, a month. It's, like, across the continent.
It's a journey.
It's huge, yeah.
So dinner comes around. They have a couple dinners, and this whole time she's got like a month here. So that's the goal, is for her to get trained, get that letter, and go back. Basically a whole summer's worth, because it's a month-long journey there, month-long training, month-long journey coming back. So she's at dinner, and Ansel is kind of telling her about everybody and letting her know the tea. Ansel tells her about Lord Barrick. She's like, yeah, we've got this guy, depending on who's telling the story, who's the real villain here, we don't know. But he likes to try to kill us every so often. So just be on the lookout for that.
Just for funsies.
And then, also at this dinner, Elias was like,
kind of catching Selena's eye. He said, who is that blonde beauty?
And Ansel's like, he does not pay attention to anybody, and I should know. I've been here for years.
She said, I tried. I shot my shot.
And he did not want me. He's so busy paying attention to working and, like, being on top of his game. So she's like, so that's, I don't know, maybe you got something.
She said maybe you like blondes.
I don't know.
Maybe he likes blondes.
So that was tea. So we got a little taste there. And also during this time, whenever she's looking at Selena's looking at Elias, she's like, wait, he is kind of cute. He kind of reminds me of Sam.
And then she has this, like, internal monologue realization, like, I shouldn't feel guilty for, like, kind of, like, liking him, but I kind of do.
Yeah.
She's like, what about Sam? And then she's like, wait, but why am I thinking about Sam?
Yeah, because she's like, I thought I hated him. What's going on? What's going on?
Definitely internal dispute with her feelings.
Yeah. So a couple other days go by. She's starting to train with the Silent Assassins. Another culture shock. Like, it's a completely different animal of how she's training with them versus how she used to train at Aderlin Assassin Guild. They're running through the desert during the days, and then, like, after they get done running through the desert and back, they continue their training. That's not her cup of tea. She is struggling through that. But
Not just, like, casually running either, like, 6 miles carrying bins of water.
Yeah.
Like, pails.
Oh, God, I would not be able to make that.
Not
I just
for me.
know for sure I would be tapping out of that one, probably. Okay, so after a few days of training with them, they still haven't let her train with the silent, like the mute master. And Selena's like, I'm on a time crunch here, sir. I need to get going. So she's like stalking him low key at dinner. She's like, I'm gonna go talk to him about why is he not training me. So she goes out to him while he's leaving the dinner, and she's like, oh wait, he doesn't talk. Let me explain it to him in a way that he does. So she's like doing really terrible sign language, and she's like, why haven't you trained me yet? What's going on? And then he's just like,
just kind of shrugs, like
you haven't earned it
sorry
yet,
about it.
essentially.
Good luck.
And so he tries leaving, and Selena's like, whoa. And she tries to grab him, and then Elias is like, oh, whoa, chill. Like, you're doing too much right now.
She's like,
yeah, she's like, listen, I could take you, but I respect you because I would be you in your situation.
I guess I won't.
So I won't, but I could. That's literally her. She was like, I could kill you, but I'm not going to. Yet.
Yeah, she's a little dramatic. We'll see.
But she is also going through so much at this time because she's like, I have to get back. Like, I don't have anything if I don't have my spot at the Assassin's Guild. So that's like kind of where she's at. But she's also conscious enough to be like, I do got to keep it chill. Otherwise, they won't let me train.
Yeah.
So after a few days there also, she gets waken up in the middle of the night.
Ooh.
Yeah. And guess what? They're like, you got to get up. We're under attack. Lord Varric is here. So she gets up, she runs out there, and she looks, and she's like, there's a whole lot of them coming after us. What are we going to do? And Ansel's like, we knew they were coming. Like, we were prepared for this, and we have spies that told us, so we have, like, a little line of gasoline or something to set a fire. And
like around the building of the keep or whatever.
So she's like, if you're ready for some fun, let's go light it up. And they get out there, they're shooting their arrows, lights it up, and Lord Varric's men go away. It was really fun. It
was like, wasn't that a good time? And Selena was like, actually, yeah.
That was so much
really
fun. It's so funny of all like the serious like action parts that are serious, but also fun.
They're like, this is so great.
This is like the time of my life.
Fun.
So
I
fun. My ideal day.
We just had a great time last night. Did you have fun?
I had so much fun. Yeah. Honestly, if I was like a badass like that, though, I think that would be pretty fun. Being like, yeah, I can just shoot arrows. It'll be so good.
We set the building on fire last night.
Just another Thursday.
It's a cutesy little day.
Okay, so anyways, this attack happened at a very particular time. And so the Mute Master's like, something's going on. They had to have known that we were a little bit more weak than usual. Why were they attacking us during this time? So he's like, Ansel, I need you to go talk to him. Let's try to figure out if we can be cordial and like try to come to some sort of understanding where he just needs to chill the heck out and stop attacking us. So Ansel's like, okay, well, I'll go. But Selena, do you want to come with me? You want to have a little girls trip? And so Selena's like, not really. But she's like, well, okay, then you can just stay and run in the desert. She's like, okay, fine. Come.
You got me.
You got me with that one.
So on their camping trip, they're in the middle of the desert, right, on their way to Xandria, which is where they're going for their business trip. And sandy as hell, disgusting weather. Selena's like, I've got sand in every nook and cranny of my entire body. And they kind of start telling stories about their life. And Ansel gets a little deep with Selena, which Selena really appreciates. She's asking her different stories, and she ends up tells one story about a witch that she encountered. And the witches are described as initially being from the Wastes, which is where Ansel is from. And she says that they encountered Ansel and her friend and another friend. I think it was those two friends were either sisters or cousins, and they encountered a witch. And basically, they were like out in the middle of nowhere. They were in the wastes. They were like in some kind of like a cave area, and they encounter the witch, and basically they start running, and the one little girl, I think her name is Maddie, gets left behind. And so they get back to their village or their town. They tell the adults, like their family, and they go back to search for this little girl, Maddie, and all they find is her skeleton, her bones picked clean off of her body. And so she tells her, she's like, anytime that if you ever come in contact with a witch,
don't trust them. Don't get near them.
Don't do it. Don't get near them. Don't trust them. Stay far away from them. And Selena's like, blood
bet.
is chilled. She's
Yeah,
like,
she's like,
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
So they go to the city and they camp. It's like a couple of days trip to get there, and they camp through the desert, and then that's kind of where Ansel tells her whole story and like why she's here. And Selena and her kind of bond during that time.
Yeah.
They get to Xandria, and Ansel's like, all right, you stay here, shop around a little bit. I'm going to go talk to this guy, and then we'll meet back up later. So during this time, Selena's like, fine, I get to go shopping. Because she's a girl's girl, you know.
Girly girl.
She's like, I have never been able to go shopping in a while. Like, I've been going through a lot. I do need to treat myself. So
she was like upset that she didn't bring enough money because she was like, I didn't know I was going to get to go shopping. Yeah. She was like, I only have
so relatable. So relatable. Except I'm just poor. Yeah, it's not that I forget money. I just don't have it.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
So she's shopping around, looking at some shoes, some perfume. But then a man catches her eye, an older man. And she's like, what is he selling? She looks at his table. He's got this super rare fabric. It's called spider silk. And she's like, that is not something that you just see anytime. Like, it is very, very rare. To get the spider silk, first of all, you have to find the spiders. And the spiders aren't like the little baby spiders we see because we're in a different world, right? They're huge. Like
the size of
people.
Horse.
Yeah, they're big.
Huge.
Big spiders. I couldn't even... That thought terrifies me.
Makes me itch.
Don't like that.
I don't want to hear about it personally.
So let's just move on a little bit. Anyways, to get this, the spiders will give it to you if you trade them something.
So basically, she's asking this man, she's like, how did you get this? And he basically kind of ignores her question for a second. He was like, how old do you think I am? And she was like, I don't know, maybe mid-40s, like early 50s, something like that. He was like, I'm 26 years old. And she was like,
you look old as shit.
She was like, you look terrible. No, but seriously, she's like, you traded like years of your life. And he said, I thought that they made me trade 20 years of my life, or that was their bargaining chip. And he said he thought they were going to take it off the end of his life and he was just going to continue living and die 20 years early. But they took it right out of the middle. And he was like, honestly, I kind of regret it, but also...
I'm going to be so rich now.
I'm trying to make the money.
Yeah. And he's like, and also, T, apparently, if I am so rich, I could probably pay someone who's really talented at killing, because she looks like an assassin probably. He's like, who's really talented at killing, and if you kill the spider that took my years, I'll get those years back. It's a win-win for everybody.
He was like, just putting it out there, just throwing it into the universe.
Yeah. So he's like, here, take this little... square of spider silk. Remember me. Remember that everything has a price, and I'll find you. She's like, yeah.
And this spider silk, he only gives her like a little baby square of it, but it is worth. It's like a invaluable like heirloom or like piece. I don't know if did we describe spider silk, like what the properties were. So spider silk, it's like. Looks very silky. It's like iridescent, beautiful, like shimmery, shiny material, but it's as strong as steel. Like you could shoot a bullet into it and it would not shatter. Like the bullet would shatter. So that's another one of the reasons that it's incredibly valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she gets to take this piece with her and she's just carrying it around when Ansel finds her after the meeting. And she's like, hey, Ansel is like, hey, come here with me. And they sneak into the stalls, the royal stalls. And she's like, look at these. And it's horses, not just horses, the Asterion horses. And these horses, they're not technically magical creatures.
So they are like, they were made by the Fae. They were created by the Fae, probably using magical properties. But they're described as like as fast as the wind and as strong as any other, like as strong as the strongest horse could be. They're like these beautiful, larger than life, like incredible horses. I think that they were like forged by magic.
Yes.
But then they continued to breed. Yes. So it's not like magic is constantly imbuing them. They're it was originally in their line created. At some point.
Yeah. They are So they're made and they're known to have the spirit, the strength, the speed and wisdom of all these sacred winds apparently. So Selena's like, wow, these are super rare creatures. I can't believe we are seeing this. That's so amazing. And Ansel's like, yeah. Let's take them. And she's like, what? So next thing they know, they're on these horses and they're skedaddling out of Xandria. They are sprinting. And Selena's like, whoa. What is going on? But there's no time to think because the guards are chasing them now. So they are booking it. And it's so funny. When I was reading this passage, I it was both chaotic and scary and stressful, but also so beautiful because they're running through the red desert. And the way I imagine it is like Spirit, the movie Spirit, where it's just like you're free and you're just running and there's just nothing but open space, and like they're running down this bank of like a river of some sort. And Selena's like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. I'm literally on one of these horses. I am running through the open desert. Like, it just felt so freeing, even though it was a chaotic time.
Yeah.
Like, that's how, it's such a weird contrast of those moments. But I was glad that she was able to recognize that as a beautiful moment, even though it was kind of scary.
Yeah, I think she was terrified in the beginning, but as she kept riding, she was like, wow, this is beautiful.
Amazing. She's like, okay, but get serious. But it's not funny, is it?
Not funny at all.
So then, to get out of the trap of the guards catching them, they have to jump over this gorge. And it's not just like a little gorge. It's like 20 feet wide. So not any regular horse could do it. And that's why it's so special. Like, she was on this Asterion horse, and they soared.
And they made it.
And they got away. And then Ansel was like, woo! That was so crazy, huh? And Selena goes, bah!
And she pops her right in the face. As soon as they dismount their horses, she decks her right in the face.
Yeah.
And Ansel's like, you know what?
I earned that.
That's valid.
She's like, that's so fair.
That's actually...
And we love a friend who understands getting hit, right?
She said... Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Anyways, so after that, so Selena is like pissed, so she hits her, obviously. And she's like, I can't believe you did that. Like, literally, I'm here for disobeying orders and getting in trouble. We're going to get in trouble again. Like, I just know we're about to get the shit beat out of us.
Yeah.
And so they go back to the keep, and Selena's like traumatized. So she's like shaking in her boots because she's like, I am literally still healing from my last beating. I can't wait for this. And she's listening to Ansel tell her story, like tell what happened. And the mute master looks at her, and she's like, and then she realizes how he was just waiting for my side of the story. He was letting me talk.
Yeah, she like flinched kind of, and she was expecting to get beat. Yeah.
That was so sad. That was really sad. And then the other thing with it is she's like, this is still so unacceptable. Like, I know that Ansel's going to get punished probably. Like, and she's got her own mission. Like, I can't let her get kicked out of here. She's got to go save her family. So she tells, like, before the mute master dismisses them, she's like, you know what? Actually, this was all my fault. Like, I did this. It was my plan. Like, blame me. I'm the one who did it. And mute master was like, I like that. You've charmed me.
You've charmed me.
So he's like, I will train you now. I will train you. So, hey, PTSD equals reward. Am I right? Right. We got to remember these little messages, right?
Yeah.
So she gets to train with the mute master finally, and he's doing his thing. And the reason why I was thinking it was like the guy from Kung Fu Panda, it's because like during their training, it's very Mr. Miyagi style. It's very like, watch the cobra.
I know. That's why I said it was like Mr. Miyagi. Right.
Okay.
Anyway.
So maybe he is Mr. Miyagi. And so he's teaching her the ways, and she's like getting different ways to think about how to attack people and like different techniques and stuff. And she's going about it. And eventually we get to Ansel's birthday party.
Ooh.
But you know, it's the silent assassin. So really it's not a birthday party per se. It's
silent disco.
Let's show them how it goes.
With no music.
So let's just imagine real quick we're at the party. Ready?
For those of you on audio, you couldn't see that, but it was a sight to behold.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how the party went. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And Elias and Selena were kind of like, you know, flirty eyes, giving each other looks. And at the end of the party, Elias walks her back to her room.
Scandalous.
It is scandalous because, you know, it's so quiet. I would be so uncomfortable walking in silence with somebody who I have a crush with. And, like, they just are choosing not to talk. I'm like, you can talk. I won't tell anyone.
Selena will still talk a little bit, but Elias does not talk.
Yeah, he's one of those people who might have done a vow of silence for who knows how long. But, yeah, he's also doing sign language. And she's just like, uh-huh.
You can only hear your breathing. You're like,
she's like, so now what? And he's like, I don't know. You want to kiss?
That is so uncomfortable.
No, but that's really how it happened. He said, I don't know. He's like, you want to, maybe?
I don't think he even said anything. She just was like looking at him, and then she stops it. She said, you know what? I'm thinking of Sam. Sam. Sam was in the back of her mind, and she realized it would be so easy and comfortable and nice to kiss Elias. But girl was thinking of Sam.
Sam has kind of snuck into her heart out of nowhere.
That is tea.
And it's so interesting, too, because it sounds like she hasn't even had any type of romantic experience. So she's holding this, like, very special. Like, she's like, I'm not just going to give my heart to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you have to earn my heart is how I envision
She
this.
said she hasn't even had a first kiss.
Yeah.
She was like, maybe I should just get it over with, but also maybe not.
Yeah, maybe it should be special.
Maybe special. Oh, that's so cute.
So it was a cute night, and I'm sure she was ready to spill the tea of what happened to Ansel the next day, because they have these punishments that like from the stealing. They have to do like stall maintenance and stuff like that. Really annoying, gross punishments. So she's out there, she's shoveling away, waiting for Ansel to show up. Ansel comes in. She looks like the walk of shame, essentially. So it's very obvious she had a great time last night.
Grat Tim.
She had a grat Tim with her boyfriend, and she was just rolling out of bed to get here. And Selena's like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. Triggers Ansel. Ansel's like, you dumb. Well, no, it wasn't like that.
Hard,
okay.
But
it did escalate.
It escalated a little bit.
She was like, everybody always loves to, if a man goes to have pleasure, it's a reward. It's a celebration. If a girl goes to have pleasure, then I'm a skank. I'm a slut. I'm dirty. I don't value myself.
Giving it up, yeah.
And so she's like going on this horse out of nowhere. I was like, dang, she really was feeling some type of way about this.
Really dramatic.
Yeah, she was like, men.
It was a trigger for her.
Yeah, she doesn't like men. It's very much like the patriarchy kind of vibe.
Kind of relatable.
But like we said, it does escalate. And eventually it triggers Ansel to a point where she's like, I can't believe that you got to get a training session with the Mute Master. I've been here for 3 years and I haven't even gotten that. Like, she's obviously salty about this. And Selena is getting triggered by her calling her out, saying that she's not worthy of all these things. And Selena's like, you know what? You're fighting for a lost cause. Like, it's the wastelands for a reason. You're not going to save anybody just because you've trained here. Like, it's the wasteland. You're fighting a lost cause. And Ansel's like, well, you're a selfish bitch. And walks away. Oh, have you ever had a friend fight?
Yeah, but not that many. With Leticia that one time. I had a friend fight over, she poked me. And we were both drunk, and she got mad at me and poked me. And then I said, I don't want to ever talk to that bitch again.
It's the littlest thing sometimes.
And then about 10 minutes later, we were dancing.
Yeah.
And it was,
fine.
to be 21 again.
Right,
to
seriously.
be 21.
What a time. And that's kind of what happens.
Well, they're little babies. They're only like babies. 17, 18
They're
here.
still learning how to control their emotions, you know? So the next day and a half, Ansel stands her up for the next little chore, and Selena has to do everything on her own. And so she's pooped after training and doing this chore, so she goes take a nap. And then she gets woken up by Ansel in the middle of the night, and she's like, what's happening? And Ansel's like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, that wasn't right. We shouldn't have been fighting. Like, that was all out of anger. That was not necessary. Let's make up. So
sweet.
And then, Selena's like, I haven't had a friend like this before. Like, you're really nice. Like, we definitely have a lot in common, and I respect you. And so she's like, let's just move on. Yeah. And so they have a little glass of wine, and they say, tink, and they drink.
And Selena blacks out.
Everything goes black.
Up in the desert with her bags, alone, away from the keep, and a letter from the Mute Master and a letter from Ansel.
Yeah. Ansel's note basically is like, hey, sorry that I had to do it this way. The Mute Master basically just told me to do this immediately. He wanted it to be low-key so you don't make a scene. Like, it's no hard feelings, but here's your letter, a recommendation.
It's like a sealed letter with the Mute Master's,
saying that you're...
like his seal ring stamp. That was incredibly difficult.
Yes.
Sing real.
Do you want to do it again?
Stamp. No.
Okay.
I think it sounds...
No.
I think you should hear my struggles.
Anyways, so she's got all these things, and Selena's like, what the... I thought that we were all friends. Like, literally, I was training with the master. I thought I was on good terms with him. I thought we were moving on. I was making friends. Like, I was actually really enjoying my time here. Like, training, meeting people, seeing everybody, like, interact with each other. So she's, like, kind of sad, and I would be, too.
She was, like, thinking... She had, like, fleeting thoughts in her POV writing, like... What if I didn't go back? Like, what if I didn't go back to the guild? Like, it's so good there. Like, they were treating her so well. There was such a spirit of camaraderie. There wasn't that cutthroat, like, fight to the death, have to be the best, have to be on top type mentality.
Yeah, it felt like a better home for her, like where
like
she's
a better
at.
culture, a better environment. Culture. Yeah.
So she's like, well, I guess that's what it is. I'm going to go back home. I got my letter, and I'm going to get back to the Assassin's Guild. So she's walking through the desert, and, like, she goes over this dune, and she's like, whoa, what the heck is going on down there? There's Lord Beric's troop, like, just kind of gathering, like, looking like they're assembling for something. She's like, they look like they could be going to the Silent Assassin's Keep. She's like, but I know that they have spies, and I know that they're usually prepared. Like, they know when something's about to happen. So maybe they actually kicked me out because they didn't want to expose me to that risk again. Like, they didn't want me, like, since I'm not actually part of their guild, they didn't want to put me in that kind of risk. So she's like, okay, fine. I'll keep going. I'll wander down a little bit more. But she's thinking some more as she's getting into the city. She's like, this doesn't make sense. I'm Selena Sardothian. I am the best of the best. They need me there.
Why would they send an excellent assassin away when they're potentially
getting attacked? Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, this is my job. I'm meant to fight. Like, you should be wanting me there.
And they've been training her. The Mute Master has been personally training her to fight. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. And she's realizing this as she keeps going.
Something starts clicking, and she's like, fuck it. I'm going to open this letter, and I'm just going to see what it is. It's blank.
Nothing. Nothing is in it from the Mute Master. And she's like, did Ansel set all of this up? Like, why would Ansel do this? She knows that Ansel is likely the one that drugged her, likely the one that left her in the wilderness. And so she makes her trek. She starts running. Well, not running. Cassida, her Assyrian mare, starts running them back as fast as the wind will take them.
Yeah, so she's like, I gotta hurry up and get back there because, like, something's not. She's like praying. She's like, I hope, like, I'm reading into this. Like, I hope that maybe someone else is behind this, but it's all looking like it could be Ansel, and she's like scared. So she gets back to the keep, and they have already been there. The keep has been open and ambushed, and she runs in, and she sees dead people everywhere. Dead people from Lord Beric's side, dead people from the Silent Assassins. There's people still fighting out in the corridors and whatnot, and she's like, I know that if they're in here, they're not here for the assassins. They're here for the Mute Master. So she runs to his little office area, gets to this room, runs in, and what she sees is Mikal, Ansel's boyfriend, dead, throat slit. She sees Elias on the ground pouring blood out of his guts.
Yeah, he's trying to hold it in.
He does not look well. She looks up over there and, like, over to the side, and she sees the Mute Master on his dais just, like, laying down, paralyzed, it looks like. Like, he's moving his eyes, but he is not able to move. And Ansel is on top of him with her sword, like, raised up, like, ready to start chopping off his head. And so Selena's like, what the? She's like, throws her dagger, cuts Ansel's arm, and knocks the sword out of her hand, causes her to have a little bit of time. So they talk. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? What is happening?
What's going on?
And so Selena and Ansel end up fighting, and this is a really emotional fight for her because she's like, she's like, I really liked Ansel. Like, this is my friend, like, my first true friend. And she's stabbing me in the back, and we're fighting to, that's crazy.
And it's making her, like, question, like, was anything that Ansel ever told me, was any of the relationship that we had ever real? Like, or was I just being, like, a pawn in this game that she was playing? And then she had to just get me out of the way so she could complete what she was going to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it was tough, but obviously our girl wins the fight, and she gets Ansel down. She gets her pinned by Ansel's own sword. So she's got her father's sword, Ansel, and Selena's got that against her throat. And she's like, I give you 20 minutes to get your shiz and leave, or I will shoot an arrow through your heart.
Mm-hmm. And she said, I'm shooting an arrow where you're going at 20 minutes, and if you're not far enough away, it's going through your heart.
Yeah. And, and Ansel's like, yeah, I did see her shoot during that one attack. Like, she does have really good aim. So let me skedaddle out of here.
And Ansel starts to leave the room. She's like, I get it. And she's like, wait, I need my sword back. It's her father's sword. And Selena kind of debates for a moment, but you can see in the POV that they're talking. They're like, Selena's like, if this were my family's heirloom, I would need it back. And she tosses her the sword, and Ansel runs.
Yeah, which I love that.
I think it's
so interesting, her little boundaries, Selena's boundaries, like where she's like, I should kill them. Like, they deserve to die. I love that she's able to say some people deserve to die, but she's also like, do they truly deserve this?
She has enough of a moral compass.
Yeah.
For her to be like an enigma.
Yeah,
she is. She's an
Which is what, as we get going, everybody else will start to find out. They'll be like, yeah, she's different. Like, she's not what we thought she would be. Okay, so Ansel skedaddles out of there, and Selena's like, help, help, help. She gets help for Elias. He's saved, and then they get the what's it called?
Like the antidote
for the poison.
The poison. They poison for the Mute Master.
Yeah, and everybody gets saved, and the Mute Master is like, 20 minutes.
You gotta go.
You gotta go shoot,
time.
Remember?
It's time.
So Selena gets up there, and it's actually 21 minutes that go by. And she knows it's 21 minutes. Like, it's an intentional 21 minutes before she shoots the arrow. And it obviously misses Ansel.
And Ansel continues riding on, going back to the wastes to try to reclaim her family's land.
Yeah. And then so the next day comes around, and Selena gets notified that the Mute Master wants to talk to her or, like, see her. She goes in, and she's like, hey, so sorry about yesterday. Like, that's so crazy. Mute Master's like, yeah, I saw that coming. She's like, whoa.
You talk.
That's whoa.
Real uncomfortable.
Hold on a minute. I thought you were silent. And he's like, actually, everybody, I never said that I was going silent. Everybody just assumes that I'm silent. I really just have nothing to say. He's like, I just don't feel like talking.
That still feels like very Mr. Miyagi-esque to me.
But he tells her, he's like, yeah, I actually knew that Ansel was the rat the whole time. Like, as soon as she got here, we sent people out to see if her story was lining up. Turns out the king killed her whole family, and that's actually why she showed up, which is so sad, right?
So sad.
And, like, I think that's, like, why she's wearing the armor all the time, and she's, like, trying so hard just to... Because she does still want to go back to her home and, like, reclaim what's hers.
She's just trying to get trained as much as possible to be able to reclaim her lands.
Yeah. And, like, the master was like, I could tell that she was lying. And when you're lying about the pain you're going through, it's only going to fester and manifest in, like, worse behavior and make you into a monster, essentially. And he's like, I just couldn't train her when she was not being able to be honest with herself. But, so he tells her all this, and Selena's like, dang, that's crazy. And then he's like, well, anyways, you guys are always welcome back, or you're always welcome back here. So if you'd like, feel free. Here's 3 chests of gold to help pay off your debts so you can be a free person and be your own being. And also, just so you remember, or just so you know, if you do decide to come back, I don't beat my disciples.
And he's like, and you should tell your master that we do not beat ours here. And maybe he should take notes.
Tea. Oh my gosh, that was tea spilled. I was like, he ate that one. That was
Mr.
some really
Miyagi,
good last words.
Mute Master.
Mute
Get it.
Master. Okay, so do we have any talking points about this passage?
Yes. I want to talk about Selena and Sam and kind of how that came about with it.
Like, how it's growing.
How it's growing.
It's like it's coming out of nowhere for me.
Yeah. What do you think about, what do you think about her feelings for him?
I think, like I said, I think it's coming out of nowhere. So she's even saying it's coming out of nowhere. She's like, I grew up with this guy. Like, we have almost always hated each other. Mm-hmm. But why am I thinking about him so much? Like, he did actually help me go against Arabin. Mm-hmm. Like, we both got punished. I know he's punished. I can't even imagine what's going through. Like, that's what she's thinking a lot about. She's like, I know I got beat, so I can only imagine what's happening to Sam. Like, Sam is just recurringly coming up in her mind a lot. And, like, the flashbacks of her beating, seeing him getting held back, like, saying, even at one point she remembers him saying, he'll kill you. Like, he was telling Arabin, I'll kill you, which I thought was pretty intense. I was like, why is he, for me, I'm just like, where did this whole relationship come from? Like,
she's either completely oblivious to his feelings for her.
Yeah.
Or she's misreading them.
Yeah.
Like, those are, I feel like in my head, those are the only 2 options. Either she's misreading, like, what his reaction, like, why he was reacting the way he was reacting during their, like, beating, their punishment, or she's an idiot. And
you know what it could be, too? I think maybe it's, like, because Arabin has been breeding her almost to be, like, you are the best. You are top tier. Mm-hmm. Like, you are going to be the biggest assassin. Like, maybe she was just, like, so focused on that ego and, like, her title that she wasn't able to really think about any other relationships or like, anything beyond herself.
I also think, too, like you said, he's been, like, honing her into this assassin. And he's also been, like, with the mask, like making her wear a mask, making her keep her identity hidden, making her to where he knows or she knows that everyone wants to kill her. Everybody wants her dead. Maybe she can't even fathom the idea of
a relationship.
It's in a relationship with a competitor, quote unquote competitor, like somebody that is vying for the same title, the same like notoriety, all of that stuff. I think she's been so manipulated into this person that Arabin wanted her to be.
Yeah, I completely agree.
What do we think about how Selena felt being in the Silent Assassin's Keep? Like how she was feeling, like her feelings comparing to Arabin's guild and the Silent Assassins.
I definitely think there was a huge culture shock in the beginning. Like she was definitely like, why are they mingling so much? Why is everybody like just talking to each other like we're equals? What?
Training with each other and then like enjoying each other's company.
And there were so many women, or not so many, but there was a good amount of women and
like
girls
equal
in this.
almost.
Yeah. And so that was kind of different from her because she was like, I almost felt like this was never a possibility. Like another girl could be doing this because they're in a different region. So she's not really been exposed to other guilds like this. And so she's like, so there are other people who are just like me. Like I might not be the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was something big, I thought. Like kind of humbling her.
Yeah, like humbling her and also like broadening her scope of what the world could be.
She's
like.
getting cultured.
She's getting cultured.
We love a cultured queen.
Yes. I think the last question that I have is, how do we feel about how this relationship with Ansel / the betrayal of her trust is going to be, which I know that we've read the book, so like we're trying to answer this as non-spoiling for where we're at as we're reading, but like how do we think this is going to affect Selena's like view of friendship and view of how she sees people, how she sees relationships, and like her trust in people?
I think it almost reiterates Arabin's drilling into her, don't trust anybody, you can only look out for yourself, and you should only be focused on your job. Like you don't have any room for any relationships because that's only going to hurt you. And that's like almost reinforcement to her because she was like, I was really getting used to like these people. Like I was feeling like I was part of their guild. Like I was working with them. I was fighting for them. Me and her bonded. We went camping together. And yeah, I feel like it's really sad. Yeah, that's all I can think about. It's like having that friend fight is one thing, but then like actually getting betrayed is so
completely different. And she's so young. Like we forget all the time that she's so young. Like she's been taken from a child, honed into this weapon, taught to never trust anyone, and as soon as she lets her guard down in the slightest, she's reinforced what she's been taught and what has been drilled into her. Yeah. It's so sad.
Yeah. So, but now she has gotten that letter and she's about to head back to the Assassin's Guild, and
a whole lot richer too.
A whole lot richer. Yeah. Well, all right, peekers, that was this week's plot.
So, next peek on the plot will be the assassin and the underworld and the assassin and the empire. We're going to do the last 2 installments of the Assassin's Blade stories, and then we will get to Throne of Glass after that, which really, if you are having trouble, like if you are reading along with us and you feel that this is dragging,
it does drag.
It is dragging. It's dragging. After we finish this book, we'll talk about the order and like
our preferences.
We have differing opinions on this. This is her first time reading it. This is my second time reading the whole series. But just know, if you are reading this as either a first time reader, first time for this series, and you feel like this is dragging a bit, just know
you're not alone.
You're not alone, and this is so worth it. This book series, I've read a lot. I'm a reader. I enjoy reading a lot, and this book series has changed me. And I know that's so dramatic to say, but
no, I love that. And we'll talk more about like our full thoughts and stuff like that at the end of the final episode.
So on our social medias, you are going to be seeing some sneak peeks of our episodes. You're going to be seeing some bloopers. So just make sure, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you would like us to do in the future, anything you hate us doing, anything you love us doing, let us know.
Please.
Let us know.
Let a girl know.
Plot.peak at TikTok, plot.peak on Instagram. And if you've got any stories, anything you'd like to share with us, or anything you want us to know.
Book recommendations.
Book recs. We have plotpeakgirlies@gmail.com if you'd like to get in touch with us. Don't send hate mail or we will block you.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Thanks for listening, and we will take a peek next week. Bye.
Goodbye.